How low they've slumped is actually a very big concern for the AFL.
Ryan Lester, definitely one of the most diligent, most well-prepared players. He's one of our quiet achievers, but always gets the job done.
That's Zorkan.
Selection 22, Brisbane.
Darcy Gardner.
No fluke that people rave about where this guy's heading with his footy. It's Harris Andrews.
Brisbane Lions select Eric Hipwood, Academy nominee for the Brisbane Lions.
The Adelaide Crows, they thrashed the Brisbane Lions by 138 points.
For the Brisbane Lions, not a year the club will look back on favourably, with just 3 wins.
Yeah, I think they are completely in turmoil and they need to make some very hard decisions and need to make them within the next fortnight.
The Brisbane Lions have sacked coach Justin Leppich.
Chris Fagan emerged as the favourite for the vacant Brisbane coaching position. One Football Insider telling 7 News the Hawks football boss is a certainty.
Pick 3, the Brisbane Lions have chosen Hugh McCluggage. Pick 17, the Brisbane Lions have chosen Jared Berry.
After 7 failed seasons, Chris Fagan is the new king in the Lions' den and he's already made many changes.
People can think that things are always going to be bad and that there's no blue sky, so we've just worked really hard in that regard with our language and things around the place about a brighter future.
During 2017, fortunes shifted. There was serious talent on the field. A sense that the kids have something special. Willingness. A desire.
Despite Adelaide saying that they will hold Charlie Cameron to his contract, he will become a Brisbane Lion.
With pick 1, the Brisbane Lions have selected Cameron Rayner.
With pick 15, the Brisbane Lions have selected Zach Bailey. Brisbane Lions have selected Brandon Starcevic.
With pick 54, the Brisbane Lions have selected Jack Parker-Payne.
Even better from Cam Rayner. Is there nothing the number 1 draft pick can't do?
Charlie Cameron is going to become a fan favourite at the Gabba.
The Lions today produced their lowest ever score.
Lodging paperwork on day 1 of the trade period to secure former Cat Lincoln McCarthy on a 3-year deal.
That freed up the Lions to use pick 6 and 19 to land Lachie Neale from the Dockers.
With pick 55, the Brisbane Lions have selected Noah Ainsworth.
By his 3rd year at the helm, Fagan had turned the Lions from wooden spooners into a fighting side.
This is set out at the Gabba. You feel like footy's back in town.
3 years ago, these boys wouldn't have believed that they could have turned up this year and played a couple of finals and won 16 games.
You better start believing in Brisbane. They're top of the ladder with a round to go. Look at these celebrations for Fagan and his troops.
A great season, but the Lions out in straight sets ultimately.
With pick 37, the Brisbane Lions have matched Essendon's bid for Kadean Coleman from Brisbane.
I'll take you down the only road I've ever been down.
And the Lions have won it. At top of the table, clash at the Gabba.
To Lachie Neale. Which way is it going to bounce? Perfectly for the Brisbane Lions.
Chris Fagan loves it.
And the Lions are into their first preliminary final since 2004.
Bitterly disappointing performance from a Brisbane side. Several areas of their game broke down across the course of the night.
And I declare the winner of the 2020 Brownlow medal, Lachie Neale of the Brisbane Lions Football Club.
At the conclusion of season 2020, Joe Danaher finally got his fresh start.
In the space of probably 18 months, maybe 2 years, Brisbane have gone from cellar dwellers to really a destination club.
They're 5 points down. Every boy dreams of this. Directly in front, he's got it. He's got it.
The Lions will fall short.
0-3, some big injuries. Unfortunately, they just weren't able to get it done.
With pick 16, the Brisbane Lions have selected Darcy Wilmot.
Pick 20, the Brisbane Lions have selected Kai Lohmann.
Charlie! What about that?
It's goal! Brisbane have kicked the goal! Danaher's got it! The Lions are steaming away from Melbourne!
And the siren sounds a most extraordinary win.
Chris Scott's men mauled the Lions by 71 points.
Chris Fagan knows that the power of youth and some clever recruiting could be all it takes to reach the promised land. Enter Josh Dunkley. Dunkley could well be that missing link.
Come on, we're going to the football club now. And what does it say on your drink bottle? What name does it say? Will Ashcroft?
The Lions have just drafted the hottest young talent in the AFL. Will Ashcroft, son of triple Premiership winner Marcus, is officially Brisbane bound after nominating under the father-son rule.
Now, we've spoken at length about Will Ashcroft, obviously a Brisbane Lions father-son, but what about Jasper Fletcher?
The two spending plenty of time together after joining the Lions in pre-season.
I played 107 games for the Brisbane Bears, Brisbane Lions.
The Brisbane Lions have matched Western Bulldogs' bid and with pick 12 select Jasper Fletcher.
What two beauties they've got there in Ashcroft and, of course, Fletcher.
Across your face, moved us to the light.
And I feel this overwhelming sense of admiration and pride. Obviously today I get to present that to my little mate, who's now clearly grown up and now my big mate. And I wish him all the very best. We're so proud. Good luck, mate.
This bloke had to have me for 19 years. It's been tough on him. Me and Narelle pulled the jumper on ourselves, and it's a privilege. But to hand the jumper over to the boy, it's the best privilege you'll ever get.
Take some stopping now, these Lions.
Ashcroft out of mid-air. Oh, you are kidding me! That is goal of the year.
The Gabba is their fortress.
Jasper running goalward. You little beauty! Welcome to the AFL, young man.
Cameron, have you ever seen anything like that?
And it's the Brisbane Lions
who'll meet the Magpies.
El Neil, 3 votes. And I declare the winner of the 2023 Brownlow Medal, Lockie Neal of the Brisbane Lions Football Club.
Collingwood are premiers for the 16th time by 4 points in one of the great grand finals. Great days you'll see at the MCG. Collingwood 12-18-90. Brisbane vanquished just 13-8-86.
I thought it was the best game that I've ever seen, let alone a grand final, in terms of what we witnessed yesterday is going to go down in history.
And often grand finals, you know, a team, you know, just capitulates and chokes. So to Brisbane as well, how good they were. So close, what a team, but just weren't good enough. And Collingwood won the big moments.
There's plenty of history around to say that you know, grand final losses don't have to define you or destroy you. They can make you. So that's what we'll be looking to do.
With pick 31, Brisbane Lions have selected Logan Morris.
I became a teacher, so it's pretty close to coaching. And as a primary school teacher, you get to coach the school team. So I did that for a lot of years at the schools that I coached at, and it just built a love for coaching. And the teams I played at, I started to look after the development squads there and bring the young players through. And so I just thought after 3 years of coaching the Mariners, I might send my CV out around to a few clubs just to go on a bit of a fishing expedition, to be honest. Neil Danaher just been appointed coach there, and I got invited to go through the interview process, and somehow or other ended up with a job, much to my surprise. Yes, someone might have mentioned to Swanee that I might not have been a bad bloke to coach the Lions, and he rang me up and asked me was I a coach or a footy manager, and I thought, I think as a footy manager I'll make a good coach. So they interviewed me, and yeah, I ended up with the job here. So it's been an amazing sort of journey, I suppose you'd call it, full of surprises. Didn't think I'd ever end up as an AFL coach. It wasn't even an ambition. I didn't think it was possible, given that I didn't play AFL footy. So therefore I enjoy every day that I do it, because I don't take it for granted. It's not something I thought I'd do. So I've got to make the most of it. Because I think trust is the highest form of human motivation. Loyalty is the other thing. I mean, I hang in with guys because I know this game's tough and hard, and it takes a lot of experiences to become really good at it. And hopefully, you know, all that resilience helps them in their life as well, because they won't play football forever.
Joe Danaher was born into the royal family of football. Expectation and injury plagued Joe at the Bombers.
And you've got to question, has he got the makeup to become what we all see, the tools, the physical tools? But we know it's more than that, the application and the mental toughness. The jury's out.
Will a change of scenery reinvigorate one of the most prodigious talents the football world hopes to see?
With Joe Danaher, it's the full Joe Danaher experience. Just strap yourself in.
So that's what you'd be saying to Joe Danaher. Joe, we'll wear your odd mistake. You make a bad decision every now and again because he's an instinctive player.
We're doing Joe Danaher, and I need to work out what's going on in between the ears.
Joe Danaher has frustrated us over the years. Joe the Goose.
Danaher and Hipwood.
Are they a premiership duo in the key post for Brisbane?
No, they're not. Not at the moment. Clearly they're not.
Can they get there?
I've got my doubts.
Joe's just not Joe. What are we coaching Joe not to be Joe? Like, I don't know. I just think that, I said last year, they won't win the premiership with Danaher and Hipwood.
Sort of saddens me a little bit, but I've decided to step away as captain of the football club. We've got some great emerging young players coming through, and especially in that leadership role. And one thing I didn't want to do was Fags have to come and tap me on the shoulder and make that decision even harder. So we just thought the time was right now. The club's in a really healthy spot, and more than happy to step away and let the next crop come through.
Timing, considering where you are in that premiership window, that would have been such a hard decision to make. Not everyone could have made it.
Selfishly, if I was to stay on, that would be a main reason as to why I would do it. However, it's a team sport, it's a team game, and what's best for the team is not necessarily me staying as captain.
Yeah, you just don't know how to react. Like, split second it happens, and then all of a sudden I'm back in Melbourne, back home, getting surgery, and it's all over that quickly. So it's hard to grasp it just because of how quickly it happened, and especially how the team was trending and how excited I was to, looking forward to playing finals, and looking from a team perspective, it was awesome to watch the boys win those couple of finals and then play in the grand final. Individual perspective, I just wanted to be out there, and I was shattered I couldn't.
I think the Bombers are also a chance for Clyde Lohman if he decides to come back to Victoria. So.
You were out of contracts, in hospital with a broken collarbone. You were thinking about going back to Victoria.
Moving away from home at 18 was pretty tough for me, and I was very homesick, I'm not going to lie.
The first 2 years was pretty hard, leaving mum to come up to Brisbane, a place I've never been before, and having 3 surgeries in a year and a half, which wasn't great.
I didn't get a game really in my first 2 years. And
it's been a couple of tough years, obviously, living away from home and injuries and what you've had to go through, etc. So, again, we're very thankful that you've chosen to stay with us. We all love you here, mate, and we're looking forward to the next couple of years with you and what's ahead. So well done to you, buddy.
It's obviously been a tough decision, but I can't walk away from this great group.
But do you think Jared Berry might have a bit of a sleepless night?
He's given away another 50. It's 50 for Sidebottom. He'll end up 55 from home, I reckon.
Now, I think that is going to haunt Jared Berry for a little while. He did try to redeem himself, trying to bust through a pack late in the game as well. I mean, it never comes down to just one moment, but that was a significant moment.
For the Lions, we wonder how deep the scars of Grand Final Day are.
Some people are saying they may have missed their chance, that their time may have come and gone.
For the first time in more than a decade, the Blues have beaten Brisbane in Brisbane.
It's not looking right. Looks like an ACL. So
last week, the Lions blew a 46-point lead. Yesterday, it was 25.
I don't think Premiership contenders concede a run of 8 goals in a game. They're better than that. Brisbane Lions have now done it 2 weeks in a row.
What I'm seeing, particularly from some of their star players, is garbage.
The Gabba breached twice in a row for the first time since 2019.
There's this story about a US trip in the off-season.
The Brisbane Lions are considering a boycott of not just the Herald Sun, but also 3AW.
And in support of our players when their partners and families were brought into this following some poor, insensitive and factually incorrect media reporting.
Every footy journalist in the country chasing whether there's any divide in any section of the playing group, and no one has been able to say there was.
I think they need to evolve their style. I think they need to look at the personnel, because if they just continue to do the same things, they might get the wins, but then what happens towards the back end of the year?
I just don't think they're going to make top 4 now, and that means they won't win it again. We may look at Chris Fagan and say, was he right for them?
Is he the man to take into a premiership, Chris Fagan?
Not going to be this year.
Sort of implied that he was a great man manager, but not a great tactician.
And now at 2 and 5, I think their season's hanging by a thread. They go back to 1997 to St Kilda for a team as low as where they are at round 7 to make a grand final.
Here's his chance, Logan Morris. First goal in AFL footy.
The biggest hit, Lincoln McCarthy and Darcy Gardner both need their knees reconstructed.
They're not winning the flag this year, no, they're done.
Hawthorn Football Club and an insight further into the racism saga.
The complaint for Chris Fagan is he nodded his head once in a meeting. That's the complaint.
They have been cleared by the AFL of any wrongdoing, and they've denied the allegations. The AFL, as I said, is deeply worried about Fagan and Clarkson and their well-being. The 2 senior AFL coaches have been to the brink.
Let's hope we can see the best of Brisbane from here.
Would it be too ruthless to put all chips in the basket and go and get Chris Scott? We've had 4 or 5 chances with you, Chris Fagan. You've done nothing wrong. You've been a very good coach, but we just think if we can get a great coach.
3 wins on the trot. Sounds like Will Ashcroft is returning to the side this week.
McCluggage. That's ridiculous.
Ashcroft. It's good to have this kid back.
If the Lions aren't the hottest team in the competition at the moment, they are very, very close.
the Brisbane Lions, and they are the form team of the competition. 9 of their last 10 games they've been able to win. No key backs at all. No Payne, no Andrews, no Joyce, and they just find a way around it.
So rounds 13 through 20, Brisbane Lions are a clear number one team in that space of time.
He was fantastic, Brendan Starcevic, in a losing side.
Is there a harder defender to get a kick on in football right now? I'm going to say no.
Well, the Brisbane botched a very easable top 4.
Yeah, and probably the Premiership, I reckon, Brownie. I mean, to finish top 2, which was on the line as an interstate club, is so vital.
They miss out on the top 4. They'll get a home final. They've finished 5th. They'll play at the Gabba against Carlton next week, but it's a long road from 5th to a Premiership.
Huge elimination final climb. And Brisbane are piling them on.
To kick 60 points without Carlton scoring, it goes down in history as one of the poorest finals we've seen.
And again, basic misses, you just...
You've been big on this, Lordo.
All
Can't trust them.
No, I can't trust them. I can't, and they're not going to win another 3 finals kicking like this.
I can't believe what we've just witnessed.
I've never seen a final like it.
Slipping further and further away here from the Lions.
They're going all the way, the Orange Tsunami.
The last 7 of the match. They're on runaway train at the moment. And the Giants lead by 44 points.
And back-to-back goals just what the Lions needed. 4 in a row, Brisbane. They are back big time. Jasper Fletcher cruises in. If this is a goal, it's going to make GWS incredibly nervous. Joe Danaher standing up in the big moments. Taylor and Joe one-on-one, and Joe get him. Can Joe slot it through? Bet he can. Brisbane in front.
Magnificent triumph for Brisbane. One of the greatest away finals comebacks the game has ever seen. From 44 points down.
They just willed their way over the line.
Joe Danaher, he just takes us on this ride.
He's an enigma. There's a couple of times you go, Joe, what are you doing? But stepped up in the biggest moments for us tonight. And we love Joe, and I wouldn't be standing here with the headphones on now if it wasn't for him.
I'm throwing Cam Rayner up as the concern. In his last 7 finals, he's had 2 good finals. He's had 5 really low impact, hardly even recognised him.
I was pretty glad he had the ball in his hands in the dying stages to win a game of footy, and I'm sure Cam Rayner and his career at this footy club will make up for that one.
It's Lockie Neal, Damo. He's been in a moon boot.
He's going to have to play, as he has now done for 3 or 4 weeks, through some significant pain issues.
The Cats, the week off with a list that they have, they've just found a way all season long.
But I have so much faith in Geelong and what they do this time of year, so I think the Cats win.
All the kids for Brisbane have been sensational.
It's been one of the most extraordinary prelims you've seen.
He has popped his shoulder, Oscar McInerney.
That shoulder has gone out again. Oh, it's down near his chest. Oh, that's terrible.
That is a blow for Brisbane.
This is one of the best finals I've ever seen.
Cameron to Henry. No! Henry's gone. Henry's kicked his 4th and Geelong lead.
2 minutes and 42 seconds left. 1 point margin, Cats.
Kick inside 50. Charlie Cameron didn't quite mark. Archie's got it. Takes the kick. Kicks the goal.
You can never underestimate the fight in Fagan's Lions.
Back towards Cam Rayner. 50 out. 52 out. To get them to the granny.
Cam Rayner's got it.
What a mighty Brisbane side. Mown down from behind by Payne. Those that were here will never forget what they saw. Brisbane just had unfinished business to attend to at the MCG.
12 months worth of hurts harnessed when the game was on the line.
We kept you awake at night. What happened last quarter last year?
Yeah, it's from last year's disappointment, the role I played in it. You get flashbacks to that moment, and then it's just like you feel responsible. But I'm a bigger person than just football, and my mum taught me. My mum taught me about resilience, and I'm a resilient person. So, we're back.
When it gets tough and the pressure's on, just playing our way and believing in each other. And
if you had have said to me at the halfway mark of the season we're going to be playing in the grand final at the end of the year, I probably would have said you're crazy.
He's been under pressure, Chris Fagan. The team's been under pressure, standing up in big moments, and they've certainly done that in the last 2 weeks. But they've got to do it again. The build-up's been enormous, fantastic to everyone, but history will record 2024 will either be Sydney or Brisbane. And everyone will say, yeah, they got close, but they failed again. They've got to take the next step.
Yeah, the travel for Brisbane 3 weeks in a row, I just feel like it'll be a factor. I feel we will on Saturday night.
In hindsight, go.
Yeah.
Why do we get sucked into that?
Yeah, the Sydney Swans. I think they've been the best team all year as the Swans. Sydney,
who are just rock solid. Great final series, have had the rest.
Sydney still, and by near on 4 goals, 23 points.
Darcy Forty's played 2 games for the season.
Had Oscar McInerney been available, though, I feel it would have been a harder conversation to have.
This year, I feel like the preparation's been really good. Obviously, played in Melbourne last week, flew back Saturday night. Had a couple of days in Brisbane, and then, this week's been pretty normal for us coming down.
I actually feel quite calm and relaxed this time around, probably compared to last year. I was a little bit antsy and couldn't sleep, whereas now I feel a little bit more calm and ready for what's coming.
If you're walking on thin ice, you may as well dance.
So the two teams that run out today, it is about the build-up, it is about the game, but then what comes after that in terms of the memories, you cannot replace. And every time this year the grand final comes around, you've either got a good memory or your bad memory.
Oh, it's either the best day of your life or the worst, really.
At the conclusion of what's been a pulsating and wildly fluctuating season, it's the Swans and the Lions who've won the right to contest on the biggest stage on this final day.
Last season, they were so close. The pain of that loss has brought them to this very stage, hoping for a different ending.
Advantage is going to be paid. First goal of the grand final, Will Hayward. The quick play on. Sydney 1-1-7.
Tommy Papley to get the Sydney fans on their feet. He runs away to the crowd.
And Kai Loman's got it.
Loman for 2 in a minute. Kai Loman. Look at him go.
We know that he craves the big stage, but even he can't believe he's kicked 2 goals.
Pure beauty.
McCluggage has been as good as anyone, and his day gets even better.
On the way, started left and comes back. He kicks the goal. Sydney get their third.
Shot, the snaps of beauty.
Charlie Cameron. Oh, does a little bow to the crowd. Thank you very much.
And give it to Loman. He's lining up for his third.
Goal number 3. Guy Loman never going to miss.
They're so clean, Jared.
They're too good on the ground. McCluggage good inside Answorth. Cameron kicks to the hot spot. Joe.
This is a big kick.
Danaher has to get it on the board. From 40 out, he's shaped it perfectly. And he's rucking more than he's ever rucked. Danaher plucks it out of the air. Here's to Archie. You'll hear the Lions roar. Got it!
The Lions are roaring. Roaring towards a flag on current indications. They are undaunted, the Lions. Jared Berry, only 11 disposals in that grand final last year. A chance for redemption 12 months on. He gave away a 50-metre penalty that cost them a goal. He kicks a 50-metre penalty here.
He told him the pain that he carried after last year, and that's a telling moment for that young man.
Eric put a little move on, fell over, and then he has an ambitious shot. Oh, no!
Up against the boundary will be a miracle.
No.
It would be a miracle.
They can do anything at the moment, Brisbane.
I don't think you could name a good Swans player out there.
Calamarchi, he's a big reason that they're here, and he steers this through for a goal as well.
It's the 19-year-old Logan Morris. He is living out his teenage dream. That's coming back.
He has 3.
Will Ashcroft, born to play the game, born for an occasion like this.
Pocket a big fly from Rayner.
Morris casually pumps his chest. Archie's kicked another one. Arms wide. Archie's got 4 on grand final day.
Cobra Kai. And he's lining up for number 4.
Here's Joe. Kick the goal, Joe. Joe Danaher kicks the goal as only he can.
Over to Joe. Danaher. Danaher goals. A second for Joey.
Joe Danaher. Look at them get around this man here.
Harris Andrews comes from the other end of the field.
And that'll be it. From walking on thin ice to dancing on the mountaintop, the Brisbane Lions never stopped believing.
The Lions produce a domination to make the golden era proud. The Premiership is going back to Brisbane, and for Chris Fagan, it's the greatest coaching story in football history.
But you look at the final series, 44 points down against the Giants, down against Geelong, go on the road for 3 weeks in a row, win it from outside the top 4. The injuries that they've had, the ACLs, the Oscar McInerney losing your ruckman, and to still win it. It's as good a storyline in terms of winning a premiership from nowhere as we've seen.
But Chris Fagan becomes the first person in VFL-AFL history to coach a premiership without having played a single game at the level. Meanwhile, he's also the oldest premiership coach and the only man to coach a premiership team in his 60s.
Gee, 44 points down, one more goal, it's all over. And they've won a grand final by 10 goals.
The Fagan gift this year was if he'd let catastrophe in the door, I reckon it would have swallowed them whole. But he stayed to what he believed and he stayed consistent with his team. And then to bring it all together on that day, at the end of 3 straight travels and 4 weeks of footy, but it has to be believable, and he was the whole way through. So, Chris Fagan, I've got no hesitation in declaring this the greatest coaching story we've ever seen.
The winner of the Norm Smith medal is Will Ashcroft.
A lot of people deserve this. So pleased for the whole group, the whole footy club and the whole supporter base.
You know, he couldn't get his body right here in Melbourne. He wanted to get out of Victoria, and it's just been great. They've been perfect for each other, Joe and the Brisbane Lions.
Thank you. You're my hero.
Oh, really? Thanks.
I'm so proud. I love these boys, and I sort of can't believe it's it.
To the middle part of the season, everyone wrote us off, and we just had that belief in us.
Nowhere has been inspired. How proud I am and how much I love this footy club and this group. It's unbelievable.
We had Dane Zorko. We said, what was it about you up there with the captains? He said, when I handed over the captaincy, Chris Fagan said, if we win a premiership, you've been here through all the hard times, you've captained through all the hard times, I'm going to have you get up on that stage with the captains, and he stuck to his word and did it.
To the players, what a group of footballers you are. You've shown enormous resilience during this season, but you've found a way, and I'm so proud of you. And we're going to have some fun together over the next few days, so well done, boys.
rubble or our sins? Oh, where do we begin? The rubble or our sins? And the walls kept tumbling down in the city that we love. Great clouds roll over the hills, bringing darkness above. But if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like nothing changed at all? And if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like you've been here before? How am I gonna be an optimist about this? How am I gonna be an optimist about this if you close your eyes? Oh, oh, oh. How am I gonna be an optimist about this? How am I gonna be an optimist about this? Oh, oh.